Dr. Sharma, when I went to India, I saw people often talk about astrology.
Okay.
Which planet is affecting them, which kind of astrological period they are passing through, and so on. So, what do I make of all of this?
Good question. Astrology is very much a part of Indian life, at least now, and has been for many centuries. It wasn't always like that. Astronomy has always been a part of Hinduism. Even in the very early texts we find astronomical observations, and some far ahead of the times in their accuracy. But yes, now when the great synthesis of Hindu ideas took place in what is called classical Hinduism, that is in the period around 400 BCE to maybe 1,000 years after Christ, in that period, astrology came to enjoy an important place in the Hindu imagination. I think a major element in this development was the fact that it got connected to the doctrine of karma. If we accept the idea of karma and rebirth, which is quite an important concept in Hinduism, in fact, al-Biruni, a very well-known Muslim savant who flourished in the 11th century, states that it is the defining feature of Hinduism, and one who does not believe in it is not considered a Hindu. This is not exactly true, but you can see from this statement how important it is, or it could be, in the imagination of Hinduism. And therefore, connection which astrology forged with the doctrine of karma and rebirth is very important. If our destiny in this life is closely connected with the kind of actions we have performed in our previous lives, then we would naturally like to know, or would be interested in, our karmic balance sheet at the time of our birth. So the view was developed that one's horoscope is basically a picture of one's karmic budget, which is revealed to one, or one's karmic account rather, at the time of one's birth. It is as if this information is transmitted in a stellar code, which we can then decode with the help of astrology. So I think this linkage between rebirth, karma, and astrology accounts for its great prevalence within Hinduism.
But, Dr. Sharma, does this not make Hinduism fatalistic?
Okay. So, you came to Montreal from Mexico. So when you came to Montreal from Mexico and opened your account here, the balance in your account in Mexico was transmitted to your account here, right? So So suppose it had a certain amount of money. The account had a certain amount of money in Mexico. You will receive exactly the same amount when you come to Montreal. That amount was fixed. But does that mean that your account is frozen? You can earn money in Montreal and change it. But of course, the changes you make in it will be deeply connected to the amount you already received. If the amount was 1,000, it will not suddenly become 1,000. If it was 1,000, it will suddenly not become 100,000, unless, of course, you hit the jackpot. Similarly, although the karmic balance is transferred from the previous life, exactly as it is, and therefore predetermined, that is the element of fatalism in it. The amount which will come to you from Mexico will be a fixed amount, same as in Mexico. But once you have it, you can do many things with it. Increase it, decrease it, multiply it, deplete it, and so on. So similarly, the horoscope at the time of your birth indicates the kind of things which are likely to happen to you on the basis of the actions you have performed in your previous life. But it is not set in stone. That is why in astrology, the astrological combinations are called sanyogas. Sanyog means conjunction. There is a coming together of certain forces, positive or negative. And you can take action to modify that. So it does not make Hinduism fatalistic. Actually, in a sense, it makes it realistic. Because if we are karmically moving in a certain direction, then we are not suddenly going to depart from that. We can, of course, change who we are and what happens to us gradually. But if I have been a professor of religious studies, I cannot overnight start teaching mathematics. Of course, ultimately I can. And this is a message of karma. You are the architect of your own destiny. But you don't start with a clean slate. So it makes Hinduism realistic. But it also makes it tactful.
Why tactful?
Oh, tactful. You know, when marriages are arranged in India, at least in the milieu I come from, horoscopes are asked for, the bride or the bridegroom. And then, if a particular match is not seen as propitious by either party, they can always tell the other party that the horoscopes did not match. So it's also a way of, it's a culturally stylized way of saying no in a very decent and harmless way. So it also serves certain very significant social purposes. This is not often recognized.